What's up guys, I know it's been a minute, but in this video I'm going to be showing you how to rank up from any rank you're at right now to Unreal in a step-by-step guide going in order from before you even open Fortnite to winning a game and every step in between. These steps don't require weeks of practice and planning, but are all applicable instantly. Feel free to use the video chapters to skip to any part in the video that would help you the most, but my recommendation is to watch the whole thing as you'll learn a lot more information. Before I get into the video, please use code elimination in the Fortnite item shop and consider dropping a like and subbing, as I'm going to start posting consistent Fortnite videos to help you all out. The first topic I'm going to get into is warming up. A big mistake a lot of people do when trying to rank up is going straight into rank the moment they get on the game. I start by doing some aim training on Kovacs anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. I like to start with Tower Frenzy to practice flicking onto enemies and eventually practice strafing to help while tracking enemies. These are the most important in my opinion, but there are also many other maps you can use. If you don't have Kovacs, you can practice aim training in game. There are a lot of creative maps to help with this. The next step to warming up is free building or 1v1s. Realistics are a great way to warm up as they simulate in-game really well. A common misconception is that you need to warm up for a really long time. Anywhere from 10 to 25 minutes is enough to play good. Now we're playing ranked and in the battle bus. Something super important that causes many people to die off spawn every game is that they don't have a proper drop spot that they know the ins and outs of. An easy way to find a drop spot is going to the website fortnite.gg and finding a location that suits you well. You can see all the different spawns like chests, healing barrels, gun drops, etc. This is super important in ensuring that you know where you're going and loot the place as fast as possible before other people do so. For example, let's say you drop at this little corner of the map here. You can land on this floor loot right here, loot all these chests, take these barrels, and then rotate using the zip line up to here. You can get height on everyone right here, then rotate up here. There's more barrels and more chests here. Then you can go to hazy, get the vault, whatever, and just kill everyone here. This is just one example, and there's so many underrated spots on the map that are uncontested and give great loot. My personal drop spot is hazy because it has good resources where I can get mats around it, and then I can kill the boss and take vault, which gives good loot. Another bonus to hazy is that sometimes there's a chance that there are drones there, and the drones give really good loot and heals. The downside to going hazy is that it's usually contested and you have to fight some people to get vault. If you aren't a confident fighter, you do not have to drop at a named POI and can easily go to side locations like the one I showed earlier. This is just an extra tip, but if you're trying to get to Unreal and become a better player and fighter, I highly recommend that you don't hide the whole game and dodge every fight. No offense, Pushcam Dad, he's still a W. You're gonna have to fight some people in order to rank up and get better. Whether that means landing at a named POI and fighting people, or looting up at smaller locations and fighting people later mid to late game, depends on how confident of a fighter you are. Now the last thing I'll say about drop spots is to make sure it has rotation so you can move to other places. The reason I land hazy is because there are cars where you can rotate to the underground place to get the grapple from the NPC and then take the cars to key reckless. A lot of unnamed POIs also have cars that you can rotate with, which is really useful. Also, do not take 50-50s off spawn. This is how you end up getting a losing streak with 9 games dead off spawn in a row. Make sure that you have a loot route set up for yourself so you can get the guns and kill your opponent before they kill you. The next thing we're going to get into is fighting people. Many people are super scared to fight and play super defensively. Don't let this be you. If someone engages in a fight with you, you don't have to run. Running will only increase the opponent's confidence and let them get a bunch of small tags on you, which can lead to your death. On the other hand, don't be super aggressive and try to key into their box full send. Have patience and look for opportunities to catch them off guard. Piece control helps a ton with this and can help you bag an easy kill. While on the topic of fighting, if your opponent likes to crank 90s to the sky, even if it might be tempting, do not crank up super high with them. This will turn it into a large build fight that almost guarantees death in some way. You can get third partied, you can get chopped down, and if the enemy has height on you because they're cranking, they can get a ton of tags on you just because you're desperate to kill them. In a situation like this, try to knock them down carefully without them dropping on you, or if you have to, you can always disengage from the fight. You don't have to finish every fight you started, and it can be a very smart idea to leave fights sometimes. Just another thing to note is that kills in early game count less than kills in late game, which is another reason not to take 50-50 fights early game, because it doesn't count as much as kills later in the game would count, so it's not worth the risk anyways. The next topic I'm going to be talking about is the best game mode to play. Many people think squads is the best way to rank up, but it's actually the worst. The way the Fortnite point system works for squads is that the total number of points the whole team gets is divided among all 4 people and given to each of them. This makes it much harder to rank up. Let's say you got 10 kills and all your other teammates got another 10 in total. In this situation, you would only have 5 kills counting towards getting your rank up. The same applies for trios, but since there's less people on the team, it makes it slightly easier to rank up. In my opinion, the best game modes to rank up is either solos or duos. Duos is good because it's easy to keep track of only one teammate, and the kills will only be divided among 2 players, which is not a lot. Also, it is safer because if you die, your teammate can revive you or get your reboot card and reboot you later. Solos is a great option if you're a good fighter and good at the game in general. The only problem with it is it's not safe, as if you die, it's over. To sum this up, my general recommendation is either duos or solos. The next part is getting into mid-game. When you're in mid-game, there's either 2 strategies you can use. The first is if you're a decent player with decent fighting capabilities. If you fall into this category, make sure you always rotate near the center of zone and rotate early. You don't want to have to end up rotating late and ending up getting killed by people holding you in storm. Once you're in zone, you can just play low-key and chill there until the next zone comes. Keep doing this until you get to endgame. If you see a kill that looks easy, you can go for it. Just remember to play confidently. The second strategy applies to players with good fighting skills and are confident that they can win most of their fights. If you fall into this category, you're probably landing at a named POI. Once you rotate out of that POI, look for easy kills to get. You can go about this many ways. The first is W keying the medallion players. Be careful doing this because you can get third partied and the medallion players are usually better than other players. Another way you can get kills is just driving around in a car and looking for people to fight. You can also third party other fights. If you see 2 people fighting that both look low, try killing one, and once you do that, you can kill the next. It is very important though that you don't get fourth partied while doing this. This leads me to my next point. Don't take fights where you can get third partied. Try taking fights that you can end quickly and that aren't in the middle of everything so you don't get third partied by other people. This leads me back to my earlier point in the video of not turning fights into large build fights. This will attract a lot more people and can lead to a ton of people joining the fight and killing you. If you do end up taking a fight and getting third partied, unfortunately, try your best to leave the fight and rotate somewhere else. Now we've made it near the end of the game and we're in endgame. The part that makes ranked a lot easier is how dead the lobbies are, especially at the end of the game. Endgame is not like a tournament endgame where there are moving zones and 40 people tarping. Usually there's only like 6 people left if you're in solos and maybe 2 to 3 teams if you're playing any other game mode. The important thing when in endgame, even if you're a good player, is to not key everyone. Build a small base and try spraying people from there without exposing yourself too much. If you get someone low, be careful if you decide to push it. Make sure that other teams aren't looking at you and make sure that you're not going into the storm. If you get someone low but other people are looking at you and them, just continue spraying the enemy you got low and try to pick up an easy kill. Once there's 3 people left in solos or 2 teams left in any other game mode, try waiting until they fight each other and then third party it. This is a very easy way to win the game and get some extra kills safely. If they start trying to fight you at the same time, take height and spray down on them. This will force them to stop focusing on you and fight each other instead. Now I'm going to be talking about each rank individually. Everything I've gone over in the video so far apply to every rank, but now I'll talk about certain individual cases for each rank. If you're in bronze to diamond, ranking up should be super easy. Try to get a few kills each game and just don't die off spawn. As long as you don't die off spawn and get a few kills, you should be able to rank up pretty easily. This section is very short because everything I've already said in the video will easily get you out of diamond. Once you're in elite, the players will start getting much better but are still not the best. I've noticed a lot of elite players make dumb decisions such as making a bad peek or trying to rush a fight too fast and end up dying. If you're an elite, try to capitalize on other enemies making these dumb plays so you can pick up an easy kill. The thing that I see holding most players back from advancing into champions is that they keep dying early game and off spawn. Remember what I said about finding a drop spot and making a proper loot route. This step is super important in not only elite but in champions too, and ensuring that you can make it out of early game successfully without dying off spawn and can help you pick up early game kills. Even though the players are better in elite, they still aren't very good, so you can take a lot of fights without having to worry too much, especially if you're a confident fighter. When you get to champions, this is when the players start getting very good. Make sure you're always aware of your surroundings even if you think people aren't near you. In champions, having a drop spot and a loot route is an absolute must to ensure that you don't die off spawn and lose rank. Champions in Unreal are the only ranks that I think playing squads could actually help out, especially if you aren't the most confident in your fighting. It is very safe to play squads, and even though you will rank up much slower, it is worth it as it makes it much harder to drop points. Champion players are very close in skill to Unreal players, so you need to make sure that you play fights very carefully. Be careful when trying to W key enemies as they can open up and hit a max damage shot on you very quickly. This is not saying to play scared, but just to be careful. And that will wrap up today's video. I hope everyone watching this reaches Unreal at some point in the season. Please use creator code elimination in the Fortnite item shop and consider liking and dropping a sub. Other than that, I hope all of you guys have a great rest of your day and expect to see more videos just like this coming soon.